Hey there, friends. Welcome to a Sunday after Election Day down here in the state of Louisiana. We had some election results last night that I think are going to bode well for not just the people in Louisiana, but also the country. And what I mean by that is, typically speaking, whenever you have a run on something, it becomes a trend. In other words, the constitutional carry, and I know not all states have a true constitutional carry, some still don't, like Florida doesn't allow open carry, but nevertheless, when you see these runs on things that become trends, then other states start to take notice because for the most part, politicians are copycats. Very few of them have an original thought. They simply copy after somebody else and they look at what has gained popularity in other states so that obviously they can gain some popularity and win election there. So with the constitutional carry growing throughout the country, I think it's good for people to see other states that they don't live in become constitutional carry because that puts pressure on their local government in their own state to follow suit and do the same thing. We have been fighting a Democrat governor here in the state of Louisiana. It's a long story how we got here with the Democrat governor, but essentially it was the Republicans running a garbage candidate 8 years ago who was a senator who had gotten caught up in that D.C. Madam scandal in Washington, D.C., and his name was in her black book. That's who the Republicans thought was the best candidate to run against the Democrat back then. So no wonder they lost. So here we are 8 years later, and we actually have Jeff Landry, who was our Attorney General in the state of Louisiana, and doing a really good job. And in fact, there were some lawsuits that he had paired up with other AGs in other states to sue the federal government and different folks like that for unconstitutional anti-gun laws. So I have a good feeling about him. And in fact, just a couple days ago, just prior to the election, it might have been the day before the election, Gun Owners of America actually endorsed Jeff Landry. Now, Jeff Landry has come out and said that he would support constitutional carry if he were elected governor. Well, guess what? He got elected governor last night. That's right. The state of Louisiana finally has what appears to be from the outside a pro-Second Amendment, pro-Constitution, pro-gun Republican governor. And this guy has shown himself, again, from what he said, we'll see what his actions are. I know he's done some cool stuff as AG, but let's see what he does that he said he's going to do as governor. When asked about constitutional carry, he commented, the current governor of this state has vetoed constitutional carry, but we're going in and passing that. The problems are not the guns, the problems are cultural, the problems are broken families, the problems are poor educational opportunities, the problems are not supporting programs that teach the proper use and handling of firearms. So when you're on the campaign trail, all this stuff sounds great. Now, it's time to put up or shut up. He has been elected. I'm very happy. I'm glad that was who I voted for. That was who I supported. I think he was clearly the best candidate. A lot of people were fearful that there was going to be actually a runoff because there were a lot of people running for governor, but he smoked them. So I think he's got the public support in the state of Louisiana. So I look for next year. Our session doesn't start until next year. Obviously, he doesn't start till next year. So I look for big things to happen next year. I would love to see the citizens of Louisiana, even citizens outside of Louisiana, pressure him to push this next year if it gets to his desk. Sign it into law. Because now we're going to find out a lot of these, and my friend Josh Barnhill from Gun Owners of America, I love his phrase, he calls them squishy Republicans. The Republicans who truly aren't Second Amendment supporters. A lot of people call them rhinos in Washington, D.C. We have a lot of those in Louisiana. These people had a veto override session where they could have passed constitutional carry a couple of years ago. Their bluff got called. In other words, they voted for the constitutional carry bill knowing that the governor was going to veto it. Then whenever they got a veto override session, they all backed off and didn't vote for it. Kind of like the dog chasing the car. What does he do when he catches it? He doesn't know. That's what happened to these Republicans. So we're about to find out if these same Republicans now who know supposedly that Landry will pass this in the law or sign this in the law, will they send it to his desk? We need to hold them to account. So now we get into, I call it small town politics, but the state representatives and state senators, now we have to start pushing them. Usually I don't feel like those races are terribly important. But in this case, obviously, they are. Because if the bill doesn't get to Landry's desk, Landry has no bill to sign. So at the local level, I would love to see the citizens of Louisiana, and again, people outside of Louisiana as well, pressure these representatives and senators to get a bill to Landry's desk next year in 2024 and sign this thing into law. I would love to see Louisiana join all these other great states who are leading the way and have already passed this law, and let Louisiana get behind them so we can pressure other states to follow suit as well.
God save the Queen, man.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.
He's over.